Hello, dear community. Welcome back to DevLive. We have less than 2 weeks till we meet again at Romexpo this year on 4th and 5th of June. And we are really excited today because we have as a guest Andrei Timofticiuc. Andrei is a staff software engineer at Google. If you don't know yet, but I'm sure you do, Google will join this year as mobile stage partner, and we are very humbled for this trust along the years. And today we'll talk with Andrei more, and what I want to tell you in order to get to know each other, that Andrei has over 14 years of experience and in software development, and you should know that he's also a curious person that likes to see what's under the hood in a software system. He is specialized in iOS development, having worked on projects from small startups to large-scale businesses, used daily by millions of users, of course. And he is certified as a cat lover and a part-time musical artist. Welcome, Andrei, and we're happy to have you in the studio today with us.
Hi, thank you for having me. Awesome opportunity.
Let's get our audience to know more about what's behind Google. And can you tell us more about the story behind Google and what set it apart in the tech space?
Yeah, sure thing. So when I think about what sets Google apart from everyone else in the tech space is this mentality of thinking outside the box. So if you look even back at the early days of Google as tiny startup, the initial internal servers were built in a Lego casing. So it's this kind of mentality that has continued up until present moments. And I see this around in my team, in our departments, in other teams across Google. Even though it's a multi-billion-dollar company, there is still that spark of a startup mentality of being scrappy, of trying things, not being afraid to fail. And I think that always gives us an edge in knowing, when to scale horizontally and when to scale vertically.
I think this culture is easily noticed in the community, and it's really appreciated. However, we are also curious how it started. Maybe you can tell us more what's the core value at Google that you maybe personally connect with.
Honestly, the thing that I see which drives most Googlers to success, so as a core value, is always assuming good intentions and focusing on the user. So it's never about thinking that, okay, a system or a feature or a project isn't working as intended because someone made a decision or another. It's always about, okay, we have this thing that we need to solve. What are the most efficient ways and the most correct ways to do this and having our users be happy with using that product? So you might have 10 or 50 people at the same table all trying to come to one conclusion of, okay, how can we be really successful? It's not always going to be 100% agreement, and that's fine. That's excellent. That's how you build great ideas. You're never going to have something exceptional if we're all on the same page all the time. It's always about assuming good intentions with the end goal of making an amazing product for our users and implicitly just making the world a better place.
Also, I'm curious, and along our interviews, we asked our guests, what's the most more memorable moment that you've had while working at Google?
I think the one which stands out most to me is when Fitbit got acquired by Google. So I was part of Fitbit previously, and right after the acquisition, so this was 2 weeks after joining Google, I was and still am the tech lead for the Fitbit iOS application. There were discussions of okay, now that Google has acquired us, what is going to change? What's going to happen with our code base? And we went through this huge plan of migrating all of our system, etc. Won't get into that. But the thing that struck me most was we were all a bit nervous at that time because we were very familiar with Fitbit systems and all of our things like, oh, how are we going to do this? And the amount of support that we got from other Google engineers, not from adjacent teams, but like from across the entire Google ecosystem. We worked with 20 plus teams. That was amazing. That essentially made me realize that like, okay, we can actually pull this off. We have all the support we need. Everyone is super helpful. And the peak moment, I think, was maybe 2 weeks before we released this new version of our app, which was fully migrated to the Google systems. I had created a small issue which sort of blocked development for everyone for approximately half an hour or so. No biggie, it happens to everyone. But the response we got back from teams in helping us revert this issue was instantaneous. I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I was like, it's fine. This happens all the time. That's why, you know, we're a community, we work together. So that's it. It's just the amount of support. And again, going back to the original statement of like just assuming good intentions. So I think that was the easy, like top 10 moments.
Very nice. That sounds amazing. It sounds very easy to do that and to connect the entire ecosystem. But I think Googlers are always open and they are supportive. We know this because we, along the years, let's say now we have 12 editions of DevTalks. We had on stage so many Google speakers, and they always been supportive and there to help and improve the agenda. So now, if somebody from the community asks what are the opportunities for professional growth, what does Google offer for tech professionals?
Honestly, in my opinion, and I say this to a lot of engineers who ask me, okay, what's it like working at Google? Because obviously, okay, what's the career path? And the answer that always comes back to my mind is Google is like a sandbox for engineers. Google is the kind of company I imagined working at when I was, I don't know, maybe like 11 years old and starting out with programming. It was like, oh, it's you know, you should work at like a sandbox type place where you can build and try anything you want. And with that in mind, the opportunities are essentially limitless. If you put your mind to something and you're good at it, you will get noticed. So it's a very meritocracy-based system. If you are dedicated to the work that you're doing and you get great results, you will be recognized for that instantaneously. So it's a very committed culture to creating things of quality and, you know, not just doing things for the sake of it and that kind of stuff. Like, no, it's about helping the engineers who are truly, truly talented and really care about the work they're doing, helping them progress through the ranks and, you know, getting promotions, getting advancement, getting more opportunities to expand their knowledge and their impact.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for sharing this. It's very useful. How is Google preparing for the tech trends of the future?
Honestly, again, it goes back to it acting like a sandbox and having that startup mentality. Right now, what we're seeing across the board is lightning fast development. So with everything that's going on in the industry, with all these companies, with all these millions and millions of startups, Google has not slowed down. If anything, we're running at 200% speed. I see all sorts of proof of concepts and mini projects and mini ideas just starting over and over, like people coming up with ideas. There's no wrong idea. So we have these internal capabilities to just, you know, spin up different types of projects. If you have an idea of like, oh, let's integrate, what if we had an app which did, I don't know, some complex mathematical equations based on whatever, you can do it. The infrastructure in Google and everything we have at our disposal, all the tools, basically enables us to have a quick turnaround time from idea to execution to testing. So in a couple of days, weeks, you can go from a discussion you had with a colleague during lunch to actually shipping an internal, let's say, mini application of your idea. So that is the trend we're setting right now for everyone, is just go fast, try out things, see what works.
Very nice. How do you see the role of developers evolving in the next decade?
Honestly, looking around, I feel like we're at a turning point. It does feel a lot similar to how engineering really upscaled in the early 2000s, where it became more and more accessible. You had all these online courses. I don't even know if Stack Overflow was a thing at that time, but you saw the bubble, you saw the excitement, you saw, how everyone wanted to get in on this. And I think we're going through the same type of moment in time right now. So if anything, what's going to happen is, as an engineer, as a developer, all of the knowledge that you have is now going to be 10x augmented. It's going to be easier to sketch things, easier to test them out, easier to just quickly, set up some skeleton application and try your idea. So I think it's a really, really, really exciting time. And in the next 10 years, I believe we're going to see an entire paradigm shift in how we build and create IT systems, applications, web apps, anything.
Yeah, the speed is crazy, and I think we'll win some interesting moments. So we're happy to have you on stage, on mobile stage at DevTalks, and also on Women in Tech stage. And I think you'll have one of the most exciting areas in the expo area, and the vibe will be very, very nice there. So for everyone that's now home or didn't have the chance to grab the ticket, please join us, and you'll don't want to miss this edition, because it seems to be the largest one till now. So thank you very much, Andrei. Thank you for your support, Google, and see you at DevTalks soon, in less than 2 weeks.
Thank you for